Hello, my loves. We are here just on YouTube right now. I'm going to be doing live streaming here on YouTube and on Instagram. And this week, I'm going to be taking questions both from Instagram and YouTube, and we're going to try that. We'll see how it goes. Everything is an experiment. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, I'll be over on, I'll be doing questions on here, and I'll be doing questions on Instagram and alternating between the two of you too. So if you have questions that you'd like to ask about magic, about spell work, about law of attraction, about tarot, about anything like that, spirit work, anything like that, you can go ahead and type those questions in. And then I'll get to questions here and on Instagram. So we're going to start our Instagram right now. So let's get that going. But I was just having a secret talk with you. All right. Hello, Instagram people. We are here doing our Sunday ritual, having our 1 hour session where we answer questions here. And I'm also doing this on YouTube live. And so what we're going to try and do this week is to answer questions both on Instagram and on YouTube, and I'll alternate between the two. So if you have a question about magic, about spell work, you have a question about tarot, you have a question about law of attraction, you have a question about spirit guides, candle magic, anything, mojo bags, whatever you want to ask about. First of all, I want to say to everyone, Happy Mother's Day, to everyone that's a mom or that has a mom, and hope you had some time, whether you were with your mom or your mom is around. I hope you had a very peaceful and to enjoy something nice this day, or say, who's a mom. Even the moms that are moms of fur babies, you're still a mom. You're taking care of those little ones. So whether they're human babies or fur babies, I hope you had a lovely Mother's Day. So we're going to look at the question. So type in a question either on Instagram or here, and we'll look at those. We're going to have a couple announcements, important announcements, exciting announcements later on, about halfway through. As we get to about 5:30 mark and the 6 o'clock mark, I'm going to give those announcements. We've got some exciting things happening here, some of which I think you're going to be very into. One of it is bringing back something old. And one of them is, well, no, they're both bringing back something old, but in a new format. You'll see what they are when we talk about them. So we'll talk about that around 5:30, and at 6 o'clock, I'll announce those things again. And it's only for you guys. It's exciting because you're here. You're going to get something special. All right. So looking at questions, let's go ahead and we'll look at Instagram first. We'll start there. We'll see what the questions are. Hello, everyone. All these nice, sweet everybody. Hi from China. Wow, we've got someone in China. It must be middle of the night. Early now. Happy Mother's Day from Creative Libra. Oh, lots of nice. Happy Mother's Day. Yeah, I'm a mom. My kids, I told them, should we talk about this before we go into it? I was talking to my kids and I told them what I wanted. They're pretty old enough. They're 18 and 20. They're old enough to like show up for Mom's Day and do something. But I'm like, kids, I want you to set up my stereo in the living room and set up the TV with Guitar Hero on it so I can play. So they said that's an easy Mother's Day present. We'll do that. So yes, and so my own mom has passed on, but I was doing some spirit work, talking with her today. So it was nice day for everyone. And if you had a difficult relationship with your mother, then you find another person who serves that role as your mother. So I think we can all appreciate on Mother's Day as that person who is our loving, even if they're male, who is very loving and caring and nurturing. So that great Mother's Day. So that was my Mother's Day. I told stereo and set up Guitar Hero for me. So here's the first one we're going to look at. First question is from Euphoric. Hi, my Euphoric, and this is over on Instagram. We'll look at the next question over on YouTube. If there's a question, go ahead and type that in YouTubers if you want to do that, and we'll look at those. So Depths of My Euphoric asks, how do you program stones and how do they work with spells? This is what she's talking about is when you set an intention on a gem. So working with gems, gems are like kind of have what I would say personalities. Oh, there's a little squirrel on the roof. You can't see it. He's 10 feet away from me. Hello, little squirrel. That's my ADD. Oh, there's a squirrel. So talking about stones, the crystal, when we have crystals, crystals have an imprint that is goes over the type of crystal it is. So like quartz crystal, for example, is an amplifier and a clarifier. Black tourmaline is a stone that grounds negative energy and dissolves negativity. It shields and protects you. Sodalite is good for creativity. Tiger's eye is good for courage. So all gemstones have their particular imprint. And we, just like you would hire people for a specific job based on their skills, you can hire the stone in a way. You take on that stone to assist with the magic work that you're doing or doing. Ways you them, putting them on your altar, making all kinds of things. And you can get, rather than get into all of that, you can look that stuff up online and find out more. There's books written about it and so on. But there's many different ways I would say you program the stone. So programming the stone is kind of like setting the intention. So I'm going to give you my way, but my way is not the only way. This is just my way of doing it. It's just like a cooking channel here. So sometimes you will get a different, opinion from someone else on how to make a lasagna, and this is one way of trying that and doing it, but you could probably find 10 or 20 different other ways of doing it. So for programming a stone, I would first set the stone, I would cleanse the stone and clarify so that it's its pure essence of its energy and not picked up, energy that it's gotten from being handled in the factory or, and so on, being handled by people in the shop. And the easiest way to do that is to get some sea salt and water and dissolve that sea salt and water, and then let your stone sit overnight. Some people like to do it like they like to set it in the moonlight or do that with the intention or something like that. But if you just want to do a quick way of anything else, so if I'm going to work with a candle, if I'm going to do and work with any tool, I kind of hold it and then I say the words of what I want it to do or how I'd like it to work, and I sort of put it out that way. So for example, you might say, let's say you have tiger's eye. So tiger's eye stone is used for courage, for bravery, for strength. So maybe you want to be you want to carry that tiger's eye on your job interview so that you are confident in your job interview and you project well and you come across as capable. So I would cleanse the stone first, and then I would hold the stone and say, protect me. Grounding is very good. Any earthy energy like crystals are good for grounding. Ground me and protect me. Give me confidence in my job interview so that I may do well and get this job. And so you're asking it, kind of telling it what to do. Then from that point, put it in a little mojo bag or whatever you want to do with it. But that's a very sort of simple way of programming stones. And you'll find there's other variations. People charge it under a full moon. They put it under full moon. They do this, they do that. But that's this is just one way of doing it. So that's what I would do. Now, how you ask, how do they work with spells? So you can, like I said, you can put it on your altar. You can carry it with you. You can put it in a mojo bag. You can add it to a water, and depending on the stone, set it next to the water or put it in the water. You have to be careful because some stones leach toxicity. So you want to make sure that stone is safe to put in water. If you're going to drink this water, if you're just using water for a wash or for a blessing, you could put that stone in a cleansing bath. I mean, there's a million ways that you can use stones. I have a lot of ways that you can use stones. If you look up on my website and go to parlorofwonders.com, go to crystals and gemstones. You look there, you'll see, and look at the particular gemstones. You'll see how to use them and ways that you can use them and ideas. And those ways that I sort of suggested ways of using them are just scratching the surface. And like I said, there's books and so forth written about how to work with gemstones. So there's lots and lots of things that you can do. All right, let's look and see if there is over on YouTube. Okay, so just so you guys know, our questions here are general questions, not questions about your particular situation, because we are doing a gathering of everybody. So sometimes people say, well, why isn't my girlfriend or my boyfriend calling me? That's not helpful to everybody. But if you ask a question like, how can I do a spell to get someone who isn't calling to call, that's more helpful. So make sure your question is a broader topic. Okay, so Ivan Salido asks, besides meditating, what else can you do to develop your clairvoyant abilities? All right, so let's talk a little bit about that. That's a great question. What we first want to get into is what is clairvoyance and the other modalities too, because clairvoyance is being able to see visions in your mind's eye of things that are remote or things that are coming or so on. That's clairvoyance. It's like you're seeing something in front of you, but you're visioning it inside. It's not a hallucination. It's not real, but you're seeing an image like you're watching a movie play. So that's clairvoyance. But there's two other modalities for getting information remotely or getting information about future events and so on. And those are clairaudience and clairsentience. So clairaudience is hearing something, but again, it's not hearing like a hallucination hearing. You're not a schizophrenic. It's not, some people get confused. They thought, well, I don't hear anything, but I imagine or I vision words in my, in my mind. I get words in my mind, or I get phrases in my mind, or I get messages that are formed verbally, but they're in my mind. Those are like visions of sound. So that's clairaudience. And then clairsentience is being able to pick up sensory information. It's a little trickier. So it can be sometimes feeling something in your body. It can get an emotional feeling from something, or it can be others' emotions or sensing others' bodily feelings and so forth. So how do you develop those? You, first of all, probably have one modality that's you're stronger at. So if you are like, I want to see visions and I'm not seeing visions, that may not be your strongest modality. And you may be missing out that you're a clairsentient and getting these feelings or sensations in your body or feeling emotions. So, first of all, tap into where you're getting your messages from. Are you hearing phrases or words or messages? Are you seeing images, or are you getting sensation and feeling? All right, so that's the first thing to sort of. Second thing is the one that really comes forward, the strongest, is the one you should develop first. You can develop the other two, but the one that you're strongest at, you're sort of naturally talented at, you should work on that one first and see how things go, and then develop the other two following that. So first determine that. Now, one of the ways that I think of that has a sort of support for that is working with tools, working with divination tools. Like if you can read cards, or you can, have some kind of, read runes or do something like that, you can start to build that muscle intuition. And I think it's almost like lifting weights. But learning to read cards can take some time and effort and energy. And one of the best ways that I've found, and I've taught my students, is to work with a pendulum, because a pendulum you can work with right away. And a pendulum is merely something that is a heavy weight suspended on a string. So you could take like a finger ring and put it on a thread, or you could use a necklace with a heavy, some kind of a pendant on it, or you could buy a particular pendulum. You could buy a pendulum that's just designed for working in the pendulum way. I have a video up on my website under instruction. So go to Parlor of Wonders and go to instruction, and you'll see a video on how to work with a pendulum. And working with a pendulum gives immediate gratification. You don't have to memorize anything. You don't have to learn anything. You don't have to do anything. You just ask a question, and the pendulum will, you coordinate with the pendulum to show you what is yes, what is no. And then you do that. So you hold the pendulum very still, you ask a yes, no question, and then it will show you yes or it will show you no, depending on the way it swings. So watch that video and start working with the pendulum, because that's going to start to build your intuitive, you'll start to get feedback is what you'll do. It's like when you ask the question, you will get a feeling, and then the pendulum will tell you, is that intuition? So you'll start to be identifying your clairvoyance or your clairaudience, or your clairsentience, and seeing it. So it's a little bit like working a muscle. All right. And then you'll start to really feel that energy quite strongly. So, all right. So let's go back to our Instagram feed, and we'll see what's going on. Lina 79 says, let's meet for gumbo on Wednesday night next week. I'm going down to New Orleans next week. And so if, I don't know, I tried to get some kind of event going in New Orleans, and I don't know, it didn't happen. So maybe we'll work that out, Lynn, and be able to meet up for coffee at Cafe du Monde or something. We'll see what we can coordinate. But if any of you are, Tarot Tea Party live, down there, or do some kind of event down there at this very last minute, that would be great. So, who knows, if you know someone in New Orleans, or you're in New Orleans and you know of something. All right, so question from Automatic Paradise. Hi, Automatic Paradise. Hi, Pamita. Can look over oil be used while using a dating app on my phone? Also, how can I enhance the effect at a club or bar? Thanks. Okay, that's a great question. So Look Me Over Oil, we talked a little bit about it last week. Look Me Over Oil is used for drawing positive attention to yourself. So Look Me Over Oil, we think of it mostly in like drawing attention in way like sexual attraction, or people seeing you and liking you or being attracted to you. It's all kinds of attraction. So it can to be seen by, like, let's say an employer who's looking at many different employees for potential like that, or an employer that's hiring, or if you're auditioning for a part in a play, you can use Look Me Over Oil to get the positive attention that gives you a little bit of edge on those sorts of circumstances. But we're talking about how to use Look Me Over Oil in its sort of, kind of more traditional format, which is to use it for drawing in a relationship, or drawing in that love. So what would we use? So we would put it on ourselves. How do we use it? We put it on ourselves. And if you're using it on a dating app, here's what I would recommend. First of all, put it on yourself before you create your profile. While you're creating your profile, let that be sort of your energy kind of going into what you're writing about yourself. Then, you could put it, another way you could do it would be to print out your profile and to use it like a petition paper. Sorry, the wind is blowing my umbrella and my phone is on the umbrella. To use it like a petition, to use that printout of that profile picture or whatever, and fold it towards you, drawing or the kind of relationship that you want. You might even write on the back the kind of relationship that you're looking for on the back of that printout, fold it towards you, and then place it underneath a candle that you dress with Look Me Over Oil. I would say put Look Me Over Oil on your phone if you're using your phone, but it's not, because you're going to be looking at all kinds of different things on your phone. It's probably not as helpful as actually having a printout of that and putting that underneath that you've dressed with a red candle that you've dressed with Look Me Over oil if you're looking for that romantic relationship. If you're looking for a job, you could put a printout of the job description or the want ad or the promotion or whatever, the role, and then dress that green candle with the Look Me Over oil. And in what, the way that I was taught is when you want something to come in, you dress it from in an upward motion. You put it on yourself in an upward motion because you're bringing it in. And if you're clearing something out, then you would let that go. But this is clearly bringing something in. So, all right. So let's look at another question. Let's see. All right. Hi, everybody on YouTube. What do you think about twin flames? We had a talk about twin flames last week. I'll just give the short version of that. The twin flame. So Michelle Garcia asked, what do you think about twin flames? Is the true twin the one you through the worst or the one you felt so much love for? So not everyone has a twin flame. A twin flame is a single soul that has separated into two bodies. So that is a contract that's kind of made before you're born, where your soul separates into two people and goes into two people, and then you two connect again. We talked about this last week, that the twin coming together is meant to ascend you spiritually, is kind of fast track you into some kind of spiritual ascension. But that doesn't mean it's easy. It's often very, very difficult because you're doing hard spiritual lessons and going very fast. I mean, imagine going like, I'm going to do a master's degree program that normally takes 2 years. I'm going to do it in a year or in 6 months or in a month. It would be excessively difficult. And so sometimes this twin flame relationships, which can have a, what I would say, like very, like, oh my gosh, this is my one true counterpart, can actually be quite challenging, and because they're meant to make you grow. So I've had lots of clients that have had twin flame. I don't have a twin flame. Mates all over, and my lover is my soulmate, but I don't have a twin flame experience. So some people may have that experience where they work through all that stuff, and then the twin flame relationship is great. Sorry, my thing keeps turning around. But many times the twin flame relationship is really challenging to get that good place. And so a lot of spiritual work and a lot of ascension will get to higher levels to get there. So it can be, it's more that than it is someone that you feel this close, yummy connection to. It's hard work with a twin flame. Always hard work with a twin flame. There's definitely an attraction. There's definitely like this fiery, powerful attraction, but it's also, yes, with those. So, all right, so let's look at Instagram. Yes, let's look at Instagram to see what else. Questions. Hi, Lee. Hi, everybody. Okay. So make sure your questions are about things that can help everybody. So if you have a personal question about something, this probably isn't the forum for that, but if you make your question into a format that's more general, then we can get to it. So Gypsy Mermaid XO. Hi, Gypsy Mermaid XO. I love mermaids. How can I use your Nefertiti candles for a beauty self-love spell? That's a gorgeous, gorgeous question and a gorgeous candle. Everyone falls in love with that candle. It's a beautiful bust of Queen Nefertiti in it's high, about that high, 7 inches or so high. Wax. They come in all colors. I have them in all the colors, so you can use it for any kind of spell where you want to have empowerment, and self-love and beauty is empowerment. So what I would recommend if you're going to be doing Nefertiti candle and you want to do it for beauty and self-love, you could do, because self-love has such gentler, forgiving sort of quality, I'd recommend getting a pink Nefertiti candle, because pink is the color of like friendship and heart connection and so forth. And we're doing that versus red, passion, sexuality. The self-love you're talking about, I'm guessing, is the kind that's very heart-centered, loving and forgiving and generous. So getting a pink Nefertiti candle, Could be one way of doing it. And then working with Queen Elizabeth root oil is very, very good. Queen Elizabeth root is for self-empowerment. It's also a beautifying, well, it's got this like self-acceptance, self-love, confidence quality to it. And then the thing I would add to that, you could add some herbs to it, and you add the herb rosemary. Rosemary is used in beauty spells. You can make rosemary water by steeping rosemary in some boiling water, like a tea, for example. Yes, I have my teapot here. No rosemary in this one today. It's love tea. We'll talk about that maybe later. But using that, rose petals are also very good for love. Again, I would use pink rose petals on them. You could sprinkle those around the candle, sprinkle the rosemary on top of the candle. What else would I use? Jasmine, which is about spiritual love. So connecting with your own spirit, connecting and all of that, which is about self-love too. So that's, kind of off the cuff what I would recommend for a beauty spell, self-love spell with that Nefertiti candle. You could use Queen Elizabeth root powder. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can use, but that's where I would sort of go first. All right, so let's go back to YouTube and see our next question. So Spirit Driver says, hi, with a little sunflower. So cute. Do you have tips for clearing spirits from clients' homes, colors to wear, post-clearing instructions, etc.? That's a big topic. But in general, if you want to do a spirit cleansing, incense is very good for that because it's moving in that sort of element that spirits work in the ether, and it connects directly to spirit energy. When you burn incense, you're connecting up to the spirit realm when you work with incense. So any of the resins could be good for that. In particular, camphor is very, very good for clearing energy. So camphor is a resin form, like, resins can do. And so you would need to light a charcoal, and then once the charcoal is turned white, you sprinkle that camphor on, and then it creates this fragrant smoke. Camphor smell is interesting because it has a kind of and also kind of a medicinal quality. We wouldn't think of it, I don't think of it as like a yummy smell. Like, frankincense smells amazing, or copal smells amazing, or Palo Santo. Those are really yummy smells to me. Camphor is a little more, but some people love it too. My kids love the smell of camphor, and they don't think it smells medicinal at all. So maybe it's just my childhood. We had, medicines that had camphor in them, I guess. I don't know. Camphophenique. I think of that stuff that we used to put on our scrapes. So use that as a go-to. It's a nice, strong cleanser. It's a much stronger cleanser in my experience than, say, softer. And it really, if you have spirits that are troublesome, that can get rid of them. Also, angelica root is very good for getting rid of troubled spirits or disruptive spirits. That can be very good for that. And making a tea out of angelica root can be sprinkled around the house. Another way you can work to get rid of spirits. So you just go room through room, kind of in that ghost busting capacity, which I've done. You tell the spirits many, 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 many times. Those spirits are not aware that they think there's some kind of like a glitch where they think that they're still in physical form and they haven't moved on. And so what you do is you let them know that they're warm, that they are a spirit, and they're free to go. Like, it's okay, you can go, you don't need to be here, you're not in physical form anymore. And I just kind of talk to them in that way. It's a kind of cooperative effort. You're telling them, like, it's almost like waking up a sleepwalker, or which I don't know if you're supposed to do or not, but somebody who's asleep and having a bad dream, you wake them up and you say, oh, it was just a dream, and then they can calm down, even if that dream seems very real. And the same thing with these spirits, it's like waking them up to the fact that they're not in physical form. And every time I've done that, that has totally helped to get them to go on, and they move on, and you won't get the troublesome effect of that. All right, so we're here at the half-hour mark, and so I'm going to tell you, I got a couple of announcements. We're also going to announce this at the end, so for the people that come in late after this time, my couple of exciting announcements for you guys. First thing, oh, airplane going over. Hopefully it's not being too loud. First thing I'm going to announce is hiatus of a couple of years. Has it been a couple of years? Probably a couple of years. My podcast is coming back. We're going to bring back the Magic and the Law of Attraction podcast. So I'll be doing that the next couple of weeks. I'm working on some new episodes, and those will be coming back. That will be coming back. It's going to be slightly different, probably in a way probably not so noticeable to you, but a little bit more noticeable for me, which is that I used to script that podcast out completely and then read that script. And that would take a lot of energy and effort to write that script. It would take several hours to do that. So this time around, I'm going to try something different, which is to write outlines about this topics, and then put those topics, talk about those topics. I'll do it sort of more off the cuff, and we'll still have the good sound quality. We'll still have the great information, but it'll be a little slightly more casual than the old podcast, the old 1.0 version. 2.0 is going to be a little more casual. I'll be able to get it out more frequently and not take a big long hiatus. If you have a question that is that you'd like to hear on the podcast, you can go over to parlorofwonders.com, go to the Magic Podcast, and I believe, I should check and make sure that this is true. If you go over to that, you should be able to enter. If not, I'll fix it so that you can enter in a question for the podcast. And if we use your question, I give you a gift certificate for the shop, and you can use that toward a reading, or you can use that toward merchandise in the shop. So it's kind of a fun little contest we have, and we get, as a result, get some really great questions. So if you have a question, I guess, go over there to Parlor of Wonders, or you go, actually, I think you can go to direct to the page by going to magicandthelawofattraction.com, and you can enter your question and get it on the podcast, and we will be doing that. So that's very exciting. So the podcast is coming back. Yay! We've had so many people like, when are you going to come up? Well, that's happening. I'm going to be working also on some more YouTube videos, so we'll have those coming up. Those are going to be, coming out every week or so. I'll have another one coming up, so that will keep on going. And then my bigger announcement. This is really exciting because this is something I haven't done that has been on my mind, which is to do, we are going to have tarot lessons with me, and we're going to be able to do it online. So if you have wanted to learn how to do tarot, those are going to be offered. And I'm going to have a free intro to tarot that anyone can come to. There's no obligation. And with this class, the first class, you'll get to understand what the tarot is. You'll start to have fun. We're going to figure out a way that you can do readings for one another. You can get familiar with the deck. You can learn a little bit about the history of the deck. Very interactive, very fun, very full. So we're going to be doing that. So I made a page up on my website. If you go over to parlorofwonders.com, if you go over to instruction, you'll see that there is online workshops up there now, and you will see how to get in on that free intro to tarot. The intro to tarot, I have to look down at the date because I'm not sure. It's going to be May 29th. So in about a week and a half, I guess, 2 weeks. 2 weeks, I guess, a little more than 2 weeks. We're going to be doing that on a Tuesday evening. It's going to be from 6 to 7:30. We're going to have it. We're going to see how it goes. This is all kind of stuff. So come on over, sign up for it. If you sign up online, we'll send you the information on how to get into the free intro. Now, there's something else though that's going on, which is the beginning tarot class. And the beginning tarot class is going to be happening on all the Tuesday evenings in July. So it's a 5-session, 5-week class every Tuesday evening. July 2nd, I think it's the first one, or July 1st, and going down through all the Tuesday evenings. It says there on the website underneath the free introduction, you'll see about the beginning class. We're going to be doing it online. First time I've ever offered it online. We've always had classes at the shop, tarot workshops and all kinds of things at the shop, but never have I done it online for everybody. And this is very, very exciting. So if you go sign up now, okay, so the class is 5 classes. In that class, you don't know anything about the tarot. You're just completely a blank slate. You completely don't know anything. By the end of those 5 classes, you will be able to do readings without looking at a book. I guarantee this. Every student that I've ever had has been able to do readings by the end of the 5-week session. Now, it's going to be small readings, 1 card, 2 cards, 3 cards, but you're going to be doing readings and you're not going to have to look up in the book. We're going to have an advanced class later on where you can start to do the bigger readings and learn more in depth and get into deeper symbolism, but you're going to be able to do it. So that class is going to be starting on the Tuesday evenings in July, and I am doing something very exciting for you guys because I want to have something special for the people that come to the tea party here. That class is going to be $250 for the 5 sessions. But if you sign up before next Sunday, so between now and May 20th, if you sign up for that class, I'm going to give you $100 off. There's a secret code, Tea Party, word, no spaces, all capitals, TEAPARTY. It will give you $100 off. So you'll get that 5-class workshop where you will be able to read tarot cards, and you'll get it for $150 instead of $250. And that's just for you guys listening, or you guys listening to the playback, but only good until the 20th. So you'll have to do it this week. And that's before we're doing all this other stuff. And I'm not going to offer that discount again. So I may offer other discounts. I may offer littler discounts, but I'm not going to offer a $100 discount. So if you want to get that $100 discount, you have to do it before the 20th and sign up before the 20th. And you'll be part of that launching of this online workshop experience. You'll be there at the very, very beginning on the ground floor, and it's going to be very exciting. So take a look at that. Go over to my website, go over to instruction, and look down at the bottom. You'll see online workshops, and you'll see all about the free workshop, which is open to everybody. You just sign up for it, and you'll see about the paid 5-session workshop where you can go from knowing nothing into going into a reader, really being a reader. And I've trained students in how to read the tarot, and everyone has been able to read, and many actually have gone on to become professional readers, which is really gratifying to talking about, using, creating that clairvoyance or clairsentience or developing that intuition. That's really what this is about. So you'll learn about some logical stuff, but you'll also learn that intuitive work, and it's super exciting. So come join me for the free session on the 29th of this month, and sign up before the 20th for the big 5 weeks, and you'll get $100 off. It'll be Tea Party. Tea Party is your code. It's only good until the 20th, so do it before the 20th. Don't wait, because I won't offer it again. All right, so let's go back to the questions and see what we've got here. All right, let's go to your question. I'll talk about this again at the end of the session. All right. Okay, so Medic Gomez says, can I use Van oil before a test? What is Van oil? Van oil is used for any bad luck or negative energy. So if you are feeling afraid of the test, or you feel like some, kind of tension, or maybe you feel like that you poorly on other tests prior, the teacher doesn't like you, something like that, then using Van before a test is a really good thing. However, there's an oil that is specifically for test taking. For students who are learning, whenever you're in a situation where you're learning, and you want to take a test and you want to do well on it, King Solomon Wisdom Oil. King Solomon Wisdom Oil is used for doing well in tests, having your brain power and your brain in gear. So if you wanted to do that, you could use the Van oil in downward motion, but I'd also recommend secondarily applying King Solomon Wisdom Oil in an upward motion. I think that would be perfect. All right. Okay, so let's go back up to Instagram and see what we've got. Hi, everybody. Hello, hello. Livy Love. I have to move my rubber band that's holding up the phone. Oops. Livy Love. What are your favorite glamour spells? It's a glamour spell. That's a good question to ask right here at the beginning. Glamour spells are used in attraction and getting people to pay positive attention to you, getting seen by others, or being able to be magnetic in some way. So there's lots of very simple things that you can use, certainly for glamour. You know, one of my favorites, though, I'm going to talk about glamour is like attracting someone. And so one of the things that I think is kind of almost the best thing to do in that situation, going out to meet someone that you want to pull into your sphere, or you want them to be enchanted with you. Glamour spell is, I mean, if we really get down to the core of that root of that word, glamour is actually to create an illusion. So if you look at old magical texts, I mean, you know, medieval or Renaissance magical texts, they talk about glamour as general, and particularly when you're creating an illusion. But a glamour spell, as we use it today, is about creating the illusion of like, wow, she's amazing or he's amazing. Think about that magnetism that like that movie stars have, or you know, that people who are just you feel drawn to them because they're so intoxicating. That's the kind of thing we're talking about with the glamour spell in use today. So one of the things of doing glamour work is if you know you're going to see someone that you want to have this allure with, is to take a bath before you are going to meet them. And you can do a glamour bath. One of the ways that I think of as the best is like, if you want to get someone to fall in love with you, they're not in love with you, or maybe even you want to attract a new love, truly, like even you know you're going out, but you don't know who you're going to meet or what. Working with cubeb berries. Cubeb berries are used for drawing that new love in. So cubeb berries are a little pepper. I sell them at my shop. It's spelled C-U-B-E-B, cubeb berries. It's a little pepper, almost looks kind of like a black pepper with a little tail on it. It's got a little stem on it. So use cubeb berries to call in that new love. One of the things that I love, I'm on Instagram, we're looking at very kind of broader questions, not questions about your certain situations. Okay. Is asking, how can I use sachet powder? I have this attraction sachet to do with it. Okay, so we're talking about attraction oil just a second ago. Let's talk about sachet powders and what they're used for. So oils and sachets are kind of they're essential oils and herbs in different forms. So oils are in that, obviously, the oily form, and sachet powders are in a powder dry form. So why would we want to use one? If you're putting it on your body, some people like to have, like they may have dry skin, and so they like the feeling of oil on their skin. Other people may have oily skin and kind of want to dry that up, or it may be hot and sweaty outside, and so a powder might feel better. So you can use them either interchangeably on your body. But oils and sachet powders really sort of show up as very different tools when we look about tricking something with that. Now, what do I mean by tricking something? If we're preparing an object to be a magical object in some way, it is putting the oil, the sachet powder on it. We do this particularly if we're going to be giving someone else and we want them to get a little bit of that energy of those herbs on themselves. All right. So understanding that there's an exchange, and particularly when we're dealing with sort of spells where we're doing something, I would say a bit coercive on someone else, them to get something on them, we want to get something from them, right? It's particularly love spells. This is like the kind of the gold standard for love spells. I get a piece of hair of my beloved, or I put something on my beloved, right? Because I want them to behave in some certain way. Reconcile, for example, or I want them to propose marriage, or I want them to be faithful to me, or whatever. Or I want them to fall in love with me. That person isn't in love with me. Okay, so we're talking about coercive magic here. There's no doubt about it. So, so when we're tricking something, or we're sort of putting these herbs on something, some things on themselves to have oil on them and other powders on them. So oils, for example, are great on something like hard and kind of waterproof, like this teapot, for example. If you put a powder on this teapot, you're going to see that powder. So it's not so good for that, because if someone says, "Oh, there's powder on this handle," I'm not going to touch it, or if they know you do magic, touch it. But if you put a drop of oil on this teapot, they won't see it. But if you have a piece of paper like this, and you put oil on it, that's going to show a big spot. So in the case of paper, you can put sachet powder on it, rub it in, shake it off, and then it's got a tiny bit of that residue of that sachet, but it isn't visible. Okay, so I have a couple sachet spells. One is on a love spell, working with sachet powder, where you write a greeting card to someone and then you dress it with that one. There's another one for business people, or for your job, where you dress your business cards with the sachet powder, because those powders won't show up when people touch it, but yet they touch it and they get it on them. But again, if you're doing something metal, plastic, ceramic, stone, you don't want to use a sachet. You want to use an oil that can sit on that surface and be invisible. Now, attraction sachet. Lots of ways you can use attraction sachet. So attraction is used for bringing that which you want to you. So when we're talking about like, what are my two go-tos? I like Van for clearing off the negativity. It's my go-to for that. And attraction for bringing in what I want, because you can direct attraction in any direction you want. You can be using it to bring in money, to bring in a job, to bring in good luck, to bring in a lover, to bring in a friend, to bring in an opportunity. It can be used for anything. So if you can use that attraction sachet powder, if you want somebody to be attracted to you, you could dress it on something paper that you give to them, and then they touch it, or a piece of mail that you send to them, and then they touch it. You could put it on your business cards to attract new clients, or to attract good customers, or to attract more opportunities. You could put it on a flyer for your club, people to come to your nightclub. You could put it on, I don't know, whatever, anything paper. So anytime, attraction is very, very broad, and it's just for bringing in what it is that you want. The way you set the sort of like program it, just like we were talking about programming crystals earlier, you program it by putting that prayer or that intention when you put it on. You say what it is that you want it to do. So that's how we do it. All right, one more question over on Instagram, and let's see what we're oh, my Ryan James Locke is there. So sweet. Hi. I don't know if you're seeing, that's one of my friends and colleagues. All right, so we've got Leeds Hill is saying, what's a good way to use magic to get motivated to follow through and act in accordance to manifest the work? Love all your videos. Thank you so much. So Well, I think there's pre-made things that help with that. Um, uh, Gosh, depending on the situation in general, if you're not feeling motivated, I would first want to clear off there may be just some negativity that's keeping you from being motivated or keeping you from moving forward. So that's where I would start to begin with. So either doing a bath or doing a smudge to cleanse your energy and to cleanse yourself so that you can get going. See how that goes for you. You could do cleansing over a few days, or you could do a smudge, every day. Now, when we're talking about herbs, I'm working with herbs, I think cinnamon is really good for getting action and getting things moving. It's a hot, fiery herb, so that's a beautiful one to get things moving. Ginger is another great one. So working with those herbs, you might want to carry like a mojo bag, for example, to get with those herbs in it, like with a ginger root or the cinnamon stick in it to get you moving and motivated and moving toward your goals. So that could be one way of doing it. There's certainly things like energy and will candle that is for motivation and for moving forward and any of that fiery sort of energy. So those are sort of some general things that could help, but I would just start with a cleanse because it may just be you want to move that funk that's keeping you bummed out or not motivated or, and that may be enough doing that cleansing bath. So, all right. So last few minutes, I want to talk to you guys. We just have a couple more minutes here. Well, we actually have a little more time. We'll take one more question. So let's see. All right. Let's see what we've got here on Instagram. Okay. What candles do you recommend in your shop? All of them. That's from AB 26 says, what candles do I recommend in my shop? All of them are good. Is the honeybee one a good one? The honeybee one is for, so it's a pillar candle that's got a heart and a bee on it. So it's a beeswax candle. So beeswax, the candles that I make are beeswax, but we have made for us. But beeswax is very, very good to spell. And that tends to be my jam. I'm like, work with light, do things in a positive way and you get better results. It seems to be, what you put out there, it comes back. So if you're putting out like love, you're going to get love back, and sort of like it feels higher vibration to me. So I want to talk a little bit about bees and why we use beeswax and why I recommend using beeswax candles. Because people just say, well, what's the point? A paraffin candle is the same. And there are some great paraffin candles. And I sell some paraffin candles. There's some gorgeous candles that are loaded with herbs and oils and everything. They come in paraffin format. But I sell plain beeswax candles in different forms, different shapes, Buddhas, Nefertiti, honeybee, and so on. But why beeswax? Well, I feel that things have vibration and energy. First of all, when you're working with beeswax, you're working with a sweetener with honey, and sweetener always sort of lends itself to being like making things a little more loving, a little more high vibration. Interestingly, I find higher energy. When I do a paraffin candle spell and I do a beeswax spell, I seem to get faster results with the beeswax candle. And the conclusion that I've come to is that if you know a little bit about bees, they create a little bit of wax. Sorry for the airplane going overhead. They create a little bit of wax, and that wax is actually, it takes, to make a tablespoon of beeswax, takes 1,000,000 bees trips to flowers, 1,000,000 trips to flowers. That's a lot of energy, and those bees have put a lot of energy into creating that wax. So you're getting all of that effort, all of that energy, all of that love, all of that the bees, along with the tool of this very sweet, lovely wax. So that's why I think beeswax candles work better. Your mileage may vary. Everyone has an opinion about that, but that's just my opinion and my experience. I've burned thousands of candles. So, just doing that over time, you start to see trends with things, and, working with beeswax tends to be very, very high vibration. It's a very spiritual thing. So working with that heart candle with the bee on it, you're sweetening, you're saying, I want this to be a sweet love. I really want this to be like yummy love. You're kind of putting that intention of the honey into that candle even more than just having the beeswax candle, because you've got the image of the bee on it and the heart too. All right, so just my couple announcements one more time. If we're not here at the middle of our session today, I wanted to let you know that we are having first of all, the podcast is coming back. The Magic and the Law of Attraction podcast is coming back over the next few weeks. I'll be doing some more episodes and we'll be putting those up. So check it out. It can be on iTunes. You can find it. Of course, I'll have it up on my website. You go to Magic and the Law of Attraction and you'll see that podcast. You can learn so much from that podcast. You send in you could win a gift certificate to my shop, and you can use it for a reading, you can use it for product, $50 gift certificate. I have to go back and revisit that, but it's a $50 gift certificate. So you could get some really nice stuff for yourself, or apply that toward a reading. It's a fun thing to get for your making the time and taking the time to send in a question to go on the podcast. So I appreciate you, and I love giving things away. So there. And the other thing I'm giving away is there's going to be a free session for free introduction to tarot that I'm going to be having on the 29th, Tuesday the 29th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So there's a time zone converter. If you're not in a Pacific time, go ahead and use that time zone converter to find out when it's going to be for you. But it's going to be 6 p.m. LA time. And then I'm going to be doing that free intro. You just go ahead and sign up by filling out that form, and you'll know all about it. And we'll give you the directions on how to get in and get on it. And you get that free introduction. No obligation, give it away. Love to teach people about tarot, and we'll have a great time. Lots of fun together, lots of interaction together. It's gonna be fun. I'm also doing something special for you guys because I'm doing a beginning tarot workshop, and it's gonna be 5 sessions over the 5 Tuesdays in July at 6 p.m. Oops, sorry, it's so wobbly, the wind is blowing. 6 p.m. on Tuesdays in July, 5 sessions. And we're going to be teaching you how to go from 0 to 60 with tarot, how to be a tarot reader and to do readings, even if you know nothing. And for you guys that are listening, there's only for this week, only until the 20th, till midnight at Pacific time and the 20th. If you sign up and use the code TEAPARTY, so TEAPARTY, instead of it being $250, it will be $150. I'm giving you $100 off because you're early to go in there and do it and join us. So I'm not going to offer this offer again. They will not be $100. They will be less. So you want to take advantage of that this week and get in there and sign up for that class. And so I would love to see. It would be so much fun to be working with you week by week. We'll get to know one another. By the way, those classes are going to be virtual classroom. So we'll all see each other. It'll be live. It's not a recorded thing. It's me talking with you, teaching you about the tarot, answering your questions live. You'll be working with one another, getting to know one another, connect with community over tarot, find new friends to read for, get some practice in. That's so, so important. I can tell you from my students who have been with me, it's an amazing experience. It's a life-changing experience. So I hope that you will join me on that, either that free one or the free one and joining the beginning class. So just get over there and find out about it. Go over to my website, Parlor of Wonders. Go into online workshops and you'll see all about it, where to sign up for the free workshop and where to go for the where to purchase that one and get that discount this week. Okay, so hope to see you there, and I hope to see you here next week. Next Sunday we'll be back again. It'll be right before I leave for my trip, so that'll be exciting. And we'll answer some more of your questions. So if you think about questions this week, come on down at 5 p.m. Pacific time and meet me here. Bye, Instagram people. I'm going to be cut off in 5 seconds. Bye, YouTube people. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm glad we got to look at both of you. Take care. Have a beautiful week. Happy Mother's Day. Bye.